Hey guys, good morning. This is Corey with Alpha Strap. Um, as you can see, TSLL is still moving down since I took my trade. Um, it's another busy day for me, so I went ahead and took my opportunity to take a quick trade. I also wanted to show you guys, um, you know, what I did, what I looked for to kind of get in and out. Um, Opportunity doesn't always end outside of this box. Is this box a good um, way of seeing which way the direction is going to go? Absolutely. As you can see, um, you know, obviously TSLL is coming down, and there's obviously a support right there. So, um, pretty much what I did this morning was, you know, 5 minute candle came down here, another 5 minute candle, and then you see there's a engulfing candle right here, and it shot up, and obviously it went above the VWAP, and it shot up. you know One thing that I was looking for was, are we going to make a new high? This right here, so we made a high, 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 and it came down, went up, and then obviously created a bigger engulfing candle right here. See how this bottom or this top candle body and this bottom candle body engulfs this? It's kind of like eating a you know food in one bite. It's gone. It's been engulfed. Sellers took over. They won. And whenever buying above the VWAP was kind of risky, but you know, with risk, there's reward. Obviously TSLL is a smaller leverage of Tesla. As you see, the daily is down, so we're not buying any calls today. The 60, the hourly is down, so we're definitely not buying calls short term. The 15 minute is down, so we're definitely not buying calls on the 5 minute. So, I was weighing those options whenever I seen this. Obviously, what I was thinking was, well, what I'll do is, if this is an engulfed candle, as long as it closes below that, I'll go ahead and buy, because, this is, even though this is the the VWAP, this is what fair value price is. That doesn't mean that price or the stock is going to just slam into it and then just stop like it's a floor. If obviously look at this. So this is a new low, right here and right here. But as long as this doesn't come and it's going to continue going lower. Will it come back up here in this area? It could, and it could be choppy the rest of the day. But whenever you're a sniper and you can go in and out, you can take trades inside this box as long as you're you're quick, you're not messing around, and you can get in, get out. Um, but yeah, so pretty much what I did was I bought right here, and I was like, and I definitely knew, this is like the 50% mark in the 15-minute orb. I was like, it's kind of risky, but I feel like there's more selling pressure, as you can see, than there is buying pressure. So I went ahead and bought this. And another thing is usually price will always retract back to where that candle was engulfed. And it did, came down, so I was like, okay, things are looking good. So I ended up, I placed a trade, continued working, and I sold around like right here, because for one, this engulfed it. I was like, 10%. We're doing March Madness. We're not doing nothing crazy this month. We're just trying to learn, get better, and fight through this choppy market. And once things start trending, obviously things are gonna be a little more exciting. But obviously, so it came down here, and I was like, I'm at 10%. I did go ahead and do 2 contracts. They were like 30 cents each. And as you see, I got 10%, only made like $10. So nothing super crazy, nothing super wild. But the important thing is having control. If you ever um, if you ever place a trade and you're nervous from the beginning, and that means you have placed too big of a trade, you were too heavily invested, you have too much money on the line. So whenever you're placing a trade, you need to be comfortable with um, with your trade. So the contract was 30 cents. I think I was in like $60. I placed it, continued to work, and you know, if it went, I want to say there was a few times it did go back in my favor, and it was like -4, -$6. You know, I, no matter how small your account is, that is nothing to stress over. The things that will make you stress is whenever $100, $200, $300 negative is going to hurt you. Um, so keep that in mind. I recommend everybody to continue this until you're like, you know what, I'm very confident. Whenever you're doing TSLL, if you're doing one contract and you're like, this is really comfortable, I'm going to try 2 contracts with TSLL. It's not going to make a huge difference because it's such a small contract, but we're not trying to get rich quick. We're trying to learn how to trade well. If you learn to trade well, you'll be able to make you'll be able to make more money than anywhere in the world for the amount of time that you put into it. So keep that in mind. Don't give up. Don't give up if you've had a few rough weeks. I've told a few people that I've had really rough weeks where I went months where I didn't do well. So, and obviously I'm still in the game, and I obviously have made enough back to where I'm just like, it was worth it. I learned a lot, and I've also take those things and I teach other people, and it's very nice seeing people that didn't give up, and they are making money. They're profitable. They're able to do things, and it's helped them, in life in general. So, and that's the whole beauty of this is it's a love. I love trading the stock market. On the days that I lose, I still love it. Um, things to look at, guys, is so Palantir on the daily is, this is just an example. I'm not saying trade the Palantir, but on the daily it's it looks bullish, but if you're in the 5 minute, you want to make sure that at least the hour is bullish, and then if you can get this to where it's bullish on the 5 minute, you're rocking, you're doing great. So obviously Bitcoin has all three, so but obviously we're not day trading those. So this candle right here obviously didn't engulf this one. So this is a double bottom at some point. Could this turn into something else to where it continues going down? Absolutely. VWAP is really good. I don't always use VWAP, but in cases like today, I was like, I turned it on. I was like, I know day traders use it. I use my advantage to knowing that they use it. So this isn't a very technical way of looking at it. So usually whenever you get more into trading and more experience, you can, I'm sure some of y'all are noticing that I don't have this turned on. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on and kind of show you guys. So obviously, if you are trading this, you're not you're seeing the body, but you're not seeing the engulf. Could you still see it? Absolutely. You can turn this on style, and I think bar color. Yeah. So you could still use this to your advantage by turning the bar off if you wanted to. I turn that off because I know a lot of times whenever you're learning to trade, the Christmas colors are very stressful. So I turn that off because, for one, you need to learn the basics. and then not stress out while trying to learn the basics. So, but for those that are using it, so you got a red diamond here. Um, One thing to look for is you're still in the alpha patients. Okay. Uh, everybody should know that after 30 minutes is when if market is up and it's 30 minutes, there's a good chance it's going to go it's going to go down. If the market is down after 30 minutes, there's a good chance it's going to go up. Um, a lot of times they like to get their liquidity, and then the rest of the day they take the rest of the day off. They take it off. With a trend. So if you bought this, let's say the diamond here, right? It came up. This white line is another factor. This white line is very important. Matter of fact, this blue cloud and this red cloud is very important. So one thing that you can look at is the price went up, went out of this white line, the red was still down here, and then price came back into the red line, which is obviously very bearish, because there's nothing more bearish than a fake bullish move, and there's nothing more bullish than a fake bearish move. So, if it was blue and it came down but it stayed blue and went back into this red, place your stop loss above this, or place your stop loss above this. If it shot out of this white line, shot back into this white line, you're like, what? That's pretty bearish. So place a line like right here. Say, hey, if it gets above this line, I'm out. I'm not gonna trade no more. I'm just gonna. We're back into this, river. Where it's gonna keep flowing down, and watch it continue to go down. So if it goes back up here, so be it. Get out of the trade. We'll fight another day. And another thing, guys, if you don't want to trade with money, there is a way to practice day trading without having to actually spend money. And a lot of people call it paper trading. Me personally, what I have done is so let's say you take this horizontal line and you're like, I'm gonna paint it. Let's say I want to paint it green, and I'll do a dotted line or something. I'll make it big. Okay. Well, maybe not that big. It's pretty big. Okay. So take this line. So let's say so let's say price shot out, shot back in, and I was like, what? If that candle stays right there, I'm gonna buy it. So you can take this green line and say, all right, I'm buying it right here. Okay. That is your buy. You're not spending any money. That is your buy. Okay. And then you take another one and you're like, I'm going to paint this orange. Okay. That is my stop loss. Okay. You can pick, all right, that's my stop loss right there. Okay. So this is your green right here. So that is saying, okay, so I am buying with this green line and I'm selling with this orange line. And if you get down to it, you can just be like, hey, I would have took profit right here, and it never went up above your line. So that is practice, and then you could also move your stop loss. So if you are, so let's say you bought it right here and it went farther down, you can take your stop loss and bring it down to here, or you can bring it down to here. And surely I would really hope that everybody would have took profit by here, because you're like, all right, so it is rejected here. It's a good chance of rejecting again. So you're using that as a magnet. You bought here, it's come down. You're like, what? I'm going to sell somewhere in here. Me personally, I like to get out before it gets there, because people get excited and sometimes they'll buy early. But I wanted to show you that, guys. Just obviously to kind of take that from out of take that out. You could do green is your buy and orange is your sell, and practice. All right, I'm buying here. My stop loss, it's right there. All right, after candle close, you're in the game. You're not spending any money, or you're not nervous, and then also you'll learn that, look at this, candle rejected off where you bought it at. Did it come up? Yeah, but it didn't go to your stop loss. Okay. And another thing, guys, is uh, if you want like a mental stop loss, if you're trading TSLL every single day, just keep this line up every day. Just it don't have to be orange. It can be whatever color you want it to be. It could be white. Um, but you can place a manual stop loss, and if it hits your line, get out. Don't let it come all the way up here, because if it does, you're gonna lose a bunch of money. You know. But when you're placing a trade, after an engulfing candle, just go to the top of this line, which obviously, or you can go to the top of this line. You know, if it goes past this line, get out, because we're going higher. For the day, I don't know, but uh, that is something you guys can practice. And guys, I really recommend you guys to watch these videos several times. Practice over the weekends. Practice in the evening times when your family's asleep. If you're not tired, practice. I can't tell you how many times I stayed up late at night to learn this. Am I still perfect today? No. Am I still learning every single day? Absolutely. Um, the stock market changes every year, every month, every day. There's something new. Um, that's the beauty of it. Um, so for the ones that are discouraged a little bit, um, you know, it's one of those things, like, you just got to keep trying, got to keep going. So let's say, like, if you were super crazy, you could have been like, you know what, I'm buying this right here. It closed above this. I'm buying it right here. You could place your stop loss right here. And then, you know what? You could have bought right here. I don't recommend it, because obviously Tesla's going down for the daily, hourly, and everything else. But check this out. A live trade. If this candle closes, we can pretend like we're going to buy. So that's a 5-minute candle. Um, if it closes, what I would like to see is, I'd like to see it close below this orange line. If it closes below this orange line, the next line would be this yellow line right here. It's 13.95. That's another thing, guys. Is marking the low of the pre-market and the high of the pre-market. Those are important. I can't tell you how many times, like, it looks like it's going down, and it rejects, and you look over and you're like, well, that's why. Late night hours don't. I mean, this right here isn't as important, but this is important. So, I hope everybody has a good day. I hope everybody has a good weekend. I look forward to next week. Obviously, over the weekend, usually a bunch of news happens, so Monday might be a crazy day. Seems like every weekend there's something crazy happening. So, so practice. Stay in the charts every single day. I don't think in the last several years, I don't think I've ever went a day without at least looking at the chart and kind of just piddling with it. And I think it's very important. If you're busy and you're working, I can't tell you how many times I've also had the chart to my left, and I would just look at it, just so I can just, because to me personally, it's like training. You're just, you're not really you're not really working hard. You're not really focusing on it. You're not piddling on the chart or anything. But it's like muscle memories. Like, you see the chart, you see how it moves, and just having that there in the side, to the left or to the right, or just, if you're waiting around, just pull up your phone and kind of look at it and kind of visualize patterns. You'll be like, that's a double bottom, or that's a double top, or that's a head and shoulders, and or that's an engulfing candle. Look at that. So keep those things in mind. Study the first 30 minutes of every day for the last 30 days, 40 days, or 60 days, and watch what it does. There's a reason why I have this here. So everybody's doing a really great job. Everybody's doing good. Super proud of everybody. you know, um, losing money isn't always easy, but sometimes you got to pay for things to learn and to learn to earn. So um, that's one thing. I had a mentor tell me, he's like, sometimes uh, uh, you're gonna have to learn to earn, and obviously it's kind of like a intuition. You pay for um, college, and then you're set the rest of your life. So keep that in mind. I'm proud of everybody that's sticking through this choppy market, because I have talked to several, and I have a pretty good connection with traders across the United States, um, and they are also having trouble because it's so choppy. I mean, that's the hard part about choppy market, is because you know people do this for a living, so they got to find out a way to trade in a choppy market. So if you ever want to learn, if you ever want to quit your job, it's good um, to learn in times like this, because next time you're like, you know what, I've done this before. I know that I need to size down. Instead of trading 5 contracts or 10 contracts, I could trade 1 to 2 contracts, still make a little bit of money, keep in the game, um, because 6 months out of the year we're trending and we're making a bunch of money. And in the choppy markets, you don't want to waste all of your money that you spent, um, in that trend on a choppy market. So you size down, So look at this, guys. So come on, we're 4 minute. Um, this is one of those things like, all right, so we're kind of far from. So a lot of times, so the 15-minute orb is great, but you know, don't be afraid to take a trade inside of this orb. And I want to explain something to you guys. So just think about it. So if this is the 15-minute orb, and I don't recommend going down to the 2 minute or the 1 minute. Um, but if you go down to the 2 minute, which I at the beginning of this thing I told everybody to try to take the Alpha Squeeze Pro off, because I want you guys to learn how to trade, um, without it. But so if you're in the 2 minute, right? Think of these lines as price targets. Okay, so it shot up. Okay, came up here, came down. Let's say you bought right here. It's below the VWAP and it's below the shell line. Your target's here. Okay, if you bought here, your target's here. If you sold here, your target's here. Those are things that, if we're down, you can use these lines as a target. You just gotta be quick. You can't just buy it here and then go mow the lawn and then expect everything to go pretty, because it's not going to be like that, because it's gonna shake right here, then go up, and it's gonna be quick, and then it's gonna come down just like this right here. You don't always have to wait for the trade to come down, because if it is a sideways market, or there's support here, then that is something to keep in mind. I don't mean to drag this out, guys. There's just so much to teach you guys, and it's so hard to do it in a few minutes. And obviously this is a 24-minute video already, so I'm gonna go ahead and get off here. Just keep that in mind, guys. In a choppy market, turn this off right here, because there's no indicator in the world that is going to help in a choppy market. Will it help a tiny bit? Sure. But the trend with indicators is like the daily or the weekly or the monthly, the hourly, the 30-minute, but the 5 minute and the 1 minute has to be trending also, or it's gonna be super choppy. So like with this right here, if you were in the 2 minute time frame, if somebody didn't know what they were doing, they would have thought this was, but look, so it's turned it off, And you're like, you know what, Corey told me that if it comes up, comes back down right here, that's bearish. Okay, place a stop loss here, sell here. If it gets rejected here, buy here, sell here. Or if you're getting wild, buy here, sell up here, or sell up here. And because look, I mean, obviously it engulfed here, you know. Or if you're like, you know what, it didn't reject here, or if it did reject here, place a put here, sell here. Place your stop loss on this red line. Try not to overcomplicate it, guys. You know, these lines here are there for a reason, and just like this line is right here, the previous day high or low, previous day low, you know, keep that in mind. I mean, these lines are there for a reason. You know, if it comes down here and rejects, you can buy and sell here, or you can buy here, sell there, sell here, and take profit here. Comes back up into here, you can buy here, sell there. If it gets above this yellow line, you can buy and sell here. Or you can, if it, you know, if it shoots up like this, comes down back into here, okay, you know, you can place this put here and then sell here or sell here, you know. And then if you bought a stop loss, if you bought a short here, put your stop loss above this right here. You know, so if it goes back up here, get out. Or if it gets above this red line, get out. You can place your stop loss, just, you know, this is 1440, put it at 1445. You know, simple, guys. The when you try to overcomplicate things is when it starts getting nasty. And I can't say that I've never done that, because I have, and that's why I'm able to tell you guys, because if you overcomplicate it, then then it gets bad quick. And you know, everybody that's relying on this indicator, you know, if you would have bought here, yes, you would have made money. But if you were shooting for the moon, then, you know, those kind of things is what will get you in trouble. So if you bought here and you're like, you know, I'm down $100 right here, take the money. If it's $50, take the money. There's a line right here because the pre-market, okay, if it closes below that, will we go farther down? I think so. If it doesn't, and if it gets above this line right here, it may go higher. So, all right, guys. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. I really hope you guys can watch this a few times to learn. Don't feel bad for watching it more than one time. I can't tell you, when I was learning, I watched the same video probably 20, 30 times. Well, you know, the kind of looks I get from my wife is unreal sometimes. So, all right, guys. I appreciate everybody. If you got to the end of this video, if you don't care, go back to the March Madness. Let me know what you thought of this video, what you've learned, and if that way you can and ask a few questions. So yeah, so if you watch this video and you got down to the very end of it, go to March Madness and tell me what you learned, what questions you have, and I will gladly spend the time to answer them and to help you understand what I'm talking about. So if you don't watch it, I'm gonna know. All right, bye.